Good morning, it's Huntington disease Todd, and we're back. We're getting into the month of June. Today's episode, I'm going to talk about what should I do when I find out I have Huntington's disease. This is an episode because I hear a lot of people online that find out and they just don't know even how to approach it. I have HD, I'm 64 with a 41 CAG, so I thought I would just talk about some of the things that I've experienced through this, because it gets mind-boggling in the beginning of time when you find out you have it. So the 4 points today is try and remain calm, at least try and gain composure. 2, you definitely can't share it with everyone. 3, hopefully you have a significant other before you find out. And 4, you should try and be more prepared in advance. This video is coming after you found out, but I'm thinking about doing one that is, what should I do before I get Huntington's disease test? That'll be probably an episode. I might even follow up with that next week. So first off, when you find out you have Huntington's disease, it's mind-boggling, it's overwhelming, it's ununderstandable for almost everybody in your family. I'm going to do this little button right now because sometimes I want to tell you, subscribe, and then you could also share this. This is also information you can give to your family members, right? So the reason I do the channel, I've talked about it before, is so that I can share my experience with people, and especially people that are just finding out you have it. I didn't have a real video that I could post to people's pages so that they could go to and look. When you're here at Huntington's disease Todd, I have an archive of information, and actually a couple years ago, I wasn't nearly as I am now. I was some of the older videos are very good. And it's also stuff that you can share with your family. So first off, try and remain calm when you find out you have Huntington's disease. That is a very cliche thing to say. But also, you're going to go through the gyrations in the beginning. Your mind's going to go racing. You're going to think the worst. Your CAG does matter. Lower or higher can be more concerning, but if you're in the 41 range like I am, I can just tell you from my experience, you have time to sit back, relax just a little bit, try to plan and prepare while your brain is in better shape. If you're finding out in your 30s or 40s or even 50, it's not necessarily like tomorrow the time clock is going to click out. Okay, so if possible, keep your head down and plan. If you can get off the focus of being, now this is not a disease that you can share with everybody, so just remember that. I'm going to tell you more about that in a second, but what you have to do in the beginning, put your head down and plan. If you found out, before you got insurance and those kind of things, we're going to have to live with that and move on, but you can still do a lot of planning, getting your financial things in order, having a plan of, how things might go. I talk about a lot of stuff on here that happens in your life, in your brain, in your lifestyle that happened to me over these last 2 years even. But so that is also the things that happened before that. So what I'm saying is definitely try to calm down. I'm going to try to calm myself down. Get a plan. Share this plan hopefully with someone that you love. And hopefully you have someone that you love before you find out you have this. And what I mean is a significant other, someone that you can share it with. There's only a couple people in your life that you can share. There's only really one person in your life that you can share Huntington's disease with, and that's your significant other. Everybody else, it's not going to register. It's not going to be their thing. It's not going to be in their wheelhouse or their research. It's not going to be something like that. So that's my second point. You definitely can't share this with everyone. Not a lot of people understand it. So here's the deal. Sometimes, some people, I am very private. I haven't always shared a lot of things anyway. So for me, it was a little easier. For my wife, it was a little easier. We're kind of private people. Huntington's disease is not something that you can share with everyone. It just does not help you or really even them. I don't know. Sharing it with your friends, it's so confusing. Sharing it with, people at work, it just doesn't, none of it is going to help you. What you need to do is, if you can, focus on the time that your brain is stable and good and you have all this opportunity with a clean mind. Try to plan and prepare, and please try to have someone as a loved one when you find this out. Sharing it with your dad who doesn't know he has it is probably the absolute worst thing that's going to happen. You know, you have to share it with your family. I understand that. But sometimes a kid will find out he has it before the parent knows, and that just opens up a whole new dilemma. You know, it's hard to share with your family too down the line. We don't want to talk about it because it's hard to explain, and we don't want to, you know, I don't know. I don't want to have any bad, you know, mojo with my kids or my grandson. So sometimes I'm more private in my brain. So the second point was you definitely can't share with everyone. Sometimes you can't even necessarily be open with a therapist. And I'm not saying don't get therapy. If you're a therapy person, then go if you like, if you think you can share. But I was never that kind of person. I always helped others. I always was in the leader's seat when it came to being more therapeutic to other people. Now that I need therapy in my life, it's hard for me to receive it. It's hard for me to understand, you know, how to, you know, keep my mouth shut and listen sometimes. But also, most other people you share it with, my mom told me one time, you know, don't share your dirty laundry out there in the world, because other people want to do is they want to help you join in the misery. And that's just the way life is. Nothing personal, nothing about, you know, it's just the way people are. People love to be in the misery train, and they love to sometimes be in the gossip train, and they love to, sometimes they say they're sharing it with their family because it's the way they communicate or whatever. My wife and I have always been private. So doing this Huntington's disease videos, you know, is more open for me than, and maybe it's a good therapy for me. I hope it's a good therapy for a few other people too, because the reality of it is my brain is getting more challenged every week. So making the videos, I'm not even talking about every month. I'm talking about every week. I have gone through a couple dilemmas here. So hopefully you have a significant other to share this with, someone on your side, a person that you have 100% confidence in, that they will at least try to listen, try to understand. It could be a best friend, it could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, it could be a husband and a wife, it could be all those things. But you really, really would be in a better position of finding this out, you know, if you have someone around you. Now, I understand this disease now, and so does my wife. So for my kids, my grandson, it would be perfectly appropriate for them to share with us if they don't have someone else in their life that they can share it with. Unfortunately, a lot of times people in the world today, they're focused on themselves. And I don't say that in a bad way, because we all have that tendency. It's a God-given thing, you know. Sometimes that's just how we are. And sometimes other people have to move on with their life. And sometimes you have to separate from some people because maybe they can't handle the truth, or they can't handle the reality of this. Some people don't want to find out they have it in the upper chain of life, the family members above. Some people don't want to find out below. I can't judge all that. But I do know this, and hopefully you have I'm looking at my notes here, so hopefully you have a significant other, so we know that. That's point 3, and I'm going to go to point 4, kind of wrap this up. You should try to be more prepared in advance of finding out, okay? When you have this disease and you go and find out that you have it and you're not totally prepared, it can become a real burden in your life. And being prepared is, you know, maybe getting some life insurance in place, you know, maybe knowing a significant person in your life that you can be and share with. Now, when I first went and found out I had Huntington's disease, they said, you know, we want you to bring along someone, you know, that you would want to, that you could share this with, and that you could have, you know, dialogue with. Well, of course, it was my wife. She has been the most understanding person, I think, on earth. She saw it in my grandfather earlier on. She saw it in my mother. She saw it in my brother. And now she sees it in me. So, you know, through thick and thin, through marriage, sickness and health and all that, we've had a long track record, so we have each other to bounce things off of. But keep in mind that before you even find out, you should be more prepared. If you found out already, being prepared is go back to number one. Try and remain calm, focus on a plan, don't focus on all the horrible. And there's a lot more advancements right now, medication-wise. There's more opportunities that we could find, some way of slowing it down, potentially even a way to stop it. Things are moving ahead at a speed light that I can't even keep up with. I don't do a lot of videos on the medications that are advancing because it's too complicated in my brain to chronologize all that and try to talk about those things. There's great information out there that you can find. And on the internet, I can't think of the gentleman's website at the moment, but there's a Facebook page where you can find out a lot of stuff about those things. So anyway, I'm getting to the end of this. I don't want to prolong it anymore. So that's the points for today. And then again, I'm going to show the subscribe button. If you can, subscribe it, like. Also, you can share it with family, right? Share it because people need to hear this so that you can also have a little bit better understanding. There is hope when you find out you have Huntington's disease. Don't bury your head in the sand. Don't start drinking. Don't start falling back on any kind of old habits. Easier said than done sometimes. Try to have the spouse in your life or loved one or significant other. Try to have someone before you find out you have it. I'm telling you that'll make a lot of difference. And again, this disease is not one that you can just share with everybody because the sympathy from everyone is not the same because the disease is not understood. All right, this is Huntington's disease Todd. This is today's episode, and thanks for watching. And go to my page and subscribe. Right down here, there'll be some stuff you can watch as well.